All right, I want to talk to y'all real quick, and it's about living at home in your 30s, man. All right, so for starters, do not feel ashamed of having to start over again in your 30s. And I want you guys to understand that it's completely okay to start over again. A lot of people are having to move back home and start completely over, moving back home with their parents, all right, because times are becoming different now compared to way back in the day where housing was a lot more affordable. Don't let society make you feel like you're a loser just because you had to start completely from scratch. Because it be these low points that really build people up, bro. You can be at the complete bottom and learn everything about yourself, become more in tune with yourself, start reflecting on things, what things you would do differently. To assume or to even think that you have to have it all completely figured out. And then on top of that, you got social media and you got all these other outliers out there that are telling you how you should do things, that you should have it all figured out. You gotta have, marriage, kids, house, fancy car, everything by a certain time. Otherwise, you're a loser. No, life is serious, okay? And bro, if you're not careful, life can hit you with a couple of Mike Tyson punches, knock you down completely, and humble the hell out of you. And you have to be prepared for that, okay? And how you're able to move through life, moving forward, right after those humbling experiences. Now, in some of my previous videos, I shared my story on how I had to pretty much start over from scratch. I also talk about how I had to get a retail job, all right, just last year. And, I had been out of the job market for damn near 10 plus years. So I had to start from the bottom at that job as well, as a sales associate. And working among, 20-year-olds who are also sales associates and managers who are around the same age as me. And I was completely fine with it. It's just that being out of the job market for so long, it's not like I didn't know how these jobs operated. In fact, even back then, like when I was in my 20s, I learned that these jobs are not forever, especially these retail jobs. They'll fire you for any reason. And that's when I started learning a thing or two about how to make money online back in the day. And once I learned how to do it, with my first online business, I couldn't look at these jobs the same ever again. So going back to retail with this knowledge already that I had developed when I was in my 20s, I couldn't accept working this retail job for like 3 or 4 years. Now, what's crazy was I had plans on being a manager. Like I was like, you know what, this job seems pretty chill. I can probably become manager. But then I started experiencing favoritism and, just the disrespect from some of the managers. I wasn't feeling it. So I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to stay at this job for the rest of my life, dude. Because when you become content and complacent with a job, that's what ends up happening. You end up settling for the job. And I couldn't bring myself to settle. You know what I mean? I wanted to travel, and see the world. And I know what's possible with the online space. I've seen so many people change their lives because of the online space. So I couldn't bring myself to just accept working a job for the rest of my life. So that's something I want you guys to understand. There's so much out there for you to experience. And even though you have to start completely over from scratch and you have to get a job stocking shelves, and do that for a while, that's completely okay. Because you can learn new skills and that could eventually take you out of that retail job or whatever job that you work that you don't like. And it could also eventually take you out of a situation that you don't really want to be in. You know what I mean? And in my case, the relationship that I have with my family members, although I want to preface that I'm appreciative that, my mother allows me to live in this house without, paying or charging me rent. And she doesn't really put any pressure on me to be this successful person. But it doesn't come without its problems. Like I have siblings and I ran into issues with my younger sibling where he was making things very uncomfortable in this house, you know, which I don't really want to get into. I actually talk about it in my other video as well, some of my other ones. And actually, I want to share with you guys a little bit of an update, because I mentioned in that video that he moved in his girlfriend last year, and that's when things got progressively worse. Well, today, as I was stepping out of the house, the girl was packing her boxes because they're gonna get the hell out of here now. All right? So that's going to allow things to be more comfortable. It's going to allow things to be, bro, with them out of the house, we'll all be able to breathe again. Okay, which takes a lot of that pressure off, a lot of that unnecessary pressure off. All right, now, if you have a good relationship with your family members, then you're blessed. All right, but in my case, my relationship with my family is very, what they call it, strained. Strained, I don't know what they call it, but it's just like, let me know in the comments, you know, what that word is, but it's just, I don't really have a very good, you know, loving, nurturing relationship with my family as much as I would like to, you know. But the main dysfunctional one in this house is getting out. They're moving out. So that should salvage some things in this house at least. And that'll allow me to focus because, you know, I have an online business that I'm trying to get off the ground, and, you know, I want to be able to travel again. So I'm in the trenches just like you guys, dude. And I want you guys to understand that you can have tough times and you can get through it. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to be like, oh man, my life is over, or, you know, my life sucks. You know what I mean? All my friends are laughing at me because I still live at home, my mom. You know what I mean? Fuck all that shit, dude. Like, you don't have to feel like a loser just because you live at home. You know, you're in your 30s. And if you at least want to get it together, if you at least, you know, have goals and dreams on, you know, on being successful. And the thing about success, I want to also talk about this too. Success is not always about money. Money is a byproduct of success, but success really starts with the mindset. There are some, I guess you can say, financially successful 20-year-olds who still haven't gotten together mentally. And if they don't get it together mentally, they're going to end up having a humbling experience where they have to start completely from the bottom again, because money comes and goes. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't fix their mindset, they're going to be screwed. But at least in your case, if you're somebody who understands that money does come and go, and, you know, you're not really in it to just be financially successful, but you're trying to get your spirit and your mindset in check, that person, along with the finances, that's a very powerful person. And you can be a leader to somebody out there who is also experiencing something like this. All right, so you're developing your arc, your story arc right now. You know what I'm saying? So this can make or break you. And honestly, this can be, you know, your greatest chance at doing things right for once. You know what I'm saying? You might have screwed up in your 20s or whatever that led to you having to end up in this situation, but it's okay, bro. And you can pick it back up. You can get your life in order, man. And at least with the humbling experience, and if you're driven to getting your life in order, bro, this would be a great comeback story for you, man. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be any rags to riches story, but it's just like, you know, you can lose it all, truck through the adversities, reflect on the things, you know, that you did wrong that led up to all this. Pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, get that job, that shitty job that doesn't pay well, you know, just so you can have some walk around money, you know, and then you can put some of that money on new skill sets or some new online business idea and turn it around, bro. You know, I just want you guys to understand that there is something out there for you, all right? And you don't necessarily have to feel like a loser just because you're starting over. You don't have to feel like a loser, dude. You don't have to have it all figured out either. if you have skill sets that you're passionate about, this will give you a chance to actually explore those things. You know, you don't have to put any pressure on yourself on being successful. Now that you're starting completely over, you know, those skill sets, those things that you're passionate about, you can actually focus on it for once. You know what I'm saying? Maybe those things that you were passionate about, you didn't get a chance to actually focus on it when you were in your 20s. And now that you have, you know, a place to fall back on and rethink things, your passion or skill set can truly set you free. You know what I mean? Like, for my case, content creation is my passion. I've always liked to make videos. I always like to take photos and stuff like that. And in online business, you know, helping others was something that I've always been passionate about. So that's what I'm doing. And, you know, remember how I mentioned that I had a retail job? Well, I quit that job. I quit that job to focus on the things that I'm passionate about, you know, because I truly believe that what I'm doing can truly set me free. And I don't like the idea of working at a job for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm doing full time. And I wake up every day and I look forward to doing it. It's not a job to me, you know? And I want you guys to understand that things can change for you. And this is not going to be some guru type thing, you know what I mean? I just want you guys to understand that it's completely okay to start over, bro. That's the end of this video, bro. I hope you guys found it useful. I just got hit with the my microphone. The storage in my microphone is about to cut out. So, yeah, I want you guys to understand that there is something out there for you. And if you found this video useful, feel free to like this video, subscribe to the channel. I got more coming for y'all, all right? And above all, I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys take care, man.